Hey Shantanu, how are you?
Hi, Sransh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you for taking out the time for doing this episode, and I'm looking forward to the conversation today.
Absolutely. Same here. Looking
Before we
forward to be greeting your a lot of audiences.
yeah, before we get started on the questions, can you give a brief about yourself and your journey throughout?
Sure. So, as you know, we met just a little bit background. We met as an MSc when we were back in doing our computer science engineering. From there on, that was 2013. Got my MBA done from William and Mary, Virginia, USA in 2019. Ever since I have been a product manager, growing in different roles. Joined a startup called New You, which was more around Salesforce. From there, I moved to another company, which I am in right now, which is called Builder.ai. So over here, I function as product manager for multiple products. One of which is very close to my heart is conversational AI, which is still in its very growing phase. So yeah, I introduce myself as AIML functional product manager, and it's been a year since I've been here.
So before we jump into talking about what a product management role is or what product managers do, can you elaborate about the roles and responsibilities?
So the job description is something which not everyone gets, and product managers are a lot of times gets laughed at by QAs and devs. Are like, this guy doesn't do anything. But yes, we do have a very critical role in any organization. The goal of us being at the center of the product is us thinking about the product 6 months down the line. What is going to be the future? What is going to be the quarter? What is going to be the next quarter, the next 6 months, and so on and so forth. Whenever a dev is working or a QA is working, he's only working on the current sprint, be it 7 days or be it 15 days. That's their lifespan of a dev or of a QA, right? But for a product manager, the lifespan is never the present. It is always next quarter or next sprint, or like the product backlog. What should be there in the product backlog next quarter, next sprint, so on and so forth. So it is very important for someone to be living in the future to make the present. And that is what I think the product managers do in like one simple line. But yeah, just to kind of a little bit elaborate on what we kind of do, we make sure there is design happening, we make sure there is dev happening, QA happening, everything is in sync. The sprint cycles are aligned the way it is supposed to be so that none of the resources are um, staying empty. Then we also kind of groom the backlog in terms of what are the features which are necessary. There are plenty of times where there are ad hoc requests which come in, which devs and QA don't understand the business value of, but they get kind of annoyed saying, we already have a sprint, why are you kind of scope creeping some other features? But I think they don't understand it, but it's a job of a product manager to help them understand that there is a business critical importance of something which is being asked of, and that is why that has become P1 right now and everything else is on hold, right? So again, that's also very important of what a product manager does, making sure that every single team is in sync. They understand why they're doing it so that they know that they have a purpose of in what they're doing, and then making sure that the journey of each and every single resource is exactly towards the business value.
So basically, a lecturer who just gives instructions.
Yeah, that's how we are perceived. Yes, that's exactly how we are perceived. But again, the why is very important, because QAs and devs don't really care about the pain points, but they do need to understand exactly why they're doing it and what is going to be the business value. Maybe it will not happen, it will not reflect instantly, even though this world has become like, if I've done something, I should get instant gratification. So that's in play right now, and that's why there are a lot of um, job hopping is happening right now. But the whole idea behind product managers is even sorry, let's come back a little bit. So if a person has done something, it then goes to testing, right? Testing takes at least 3 weeks to 1 month, and then you actually see the results happening. So to tie back the same changes which a QA or a dev has done, again, telling them, hey, this is what you did last time. This is what the business effect has happened. Creating that loop, creating that QA feedback, that feedback is very important to make everyone, again, aligned with same, if keeping everyone aligned with what the business value is.
Another question, which I'm not sure if you have had experience in both smaller companies, startups, and corporates as well,
Mhm.
but is there any difference in product management in smaller companies versus that in bigger companies?
Huge. So when you're in a bigger company, you only at any given point in time when you become a product manager in a big company, you get one product. Or if you're just joined just in your first couple of years of experience of the product management, you get one feature, right? And me being a product manager in a startup phase and a growth phase, I have 6 products. I take care of all the backlog grooming. I take care of each and every single feature of each and every single sprint cycle, which is going to be out there. So I have huge breadth of understanding of product, but then that also kind of compromises on the depth, right? So as a product manager in a Fandango company, you have huge depth, maybe with one product or one feature, even better. And when you're in a startup, you have the complete breadth of understanding of what's happening, but you don't get as much time to go deep dive in each and every single functions.
So basically, same as every startup, you're overworked and
Probably,
have a
yes.
lot of time. Yeah, one thing that I wanted to discuss a bit more about, because I've seen a few people make the migration from being a software developer to a product manager. And something that has happened over the years is a lot of people just do it because they either hate tech or they just do it for various reasons. What was your rationale behind
Right.
doing the migration?
So past 2013, I directly got myself like a campus placement, which is a very normal thing in India. I was there for 3 years, but within that 3 year, I had very few opportunities, I would say, to use my right side of the brain, the creative side. All I was doing was a 9 to 6 dictated coding where I was told what to do, how to do it, and I just had to like put it in terms of zeros and ones. So I did pick up photography and hiking over the weekend um, to grow my other side of things, the right side of the brain, but wasn't fulfilling enough. So I started looking out for where are these directions actually coming from, who is doing the creative side of things. And I figure it is mostly around the leadership role, which is guiding or directing the vision of the company. And I figured I want to be there. And that is where I started figuring out what I wanted to do. That's where I got myself my MBA. Post MBA, excuse me, post MBA, I was again looking out for different avenues. And I figured product management is my quickest way to becoming a CEO, starting my own set of ideas, creating stuff, more or less, again, becoming owning a product and giving it a vision right from day one. And that's what I chose, and I'm really happy I'm there right now. So that's what my transition was from dev to PM. It was mostly because I wanted to be in a very creative role.
There's other ways of becoming a CEO too. Just
I I am on it. I'm on it. So I did start my photography solo journey with under the brand name Maverick Mo, but uh, didn't really flourish, probably because of networking or maybe my photos were not that great 5 years ago. But yeah, that again is a side hustle which I continue to follow every now and then.
yeah, a lot goes into building a company or a brand from scratch. So definitely resonate with that. But what I'm more curious about is, do you miss being a software developer? Because I remember you were a good developer when we were in college, I guess.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So every now and then, so talking about the being a software engineer, I really like the algo side of things,
Mhm.
creating the algorithm. And even now, whenever I feel the need, or if my developers are like, Shant, this is very difficult, we can't do it. I'm like, all right, it's time for me to, I guess, write some algorithms. So yeah, I still do that once a month or twice a month, however my team needs it. But yes, I never really liked coding per se. I always liked writing the algorithms or figuring out how the flow would be, the ifs and conditions, and so on and so forth. So yes, I'm still hands on with that.
And any other skills that translated from being a developer to a product manager?
So as a developer, I wasn't just coding, but I was also doing a lot of testing, QA, because my team back then was very small on resources. So I was the one who was being the release manager, the QA, also like writing codes here and there. So more or less, I think I got the whole software development package. And again, as a PM, being a QA and having that eyesight of thinking, all right, if this is happening, this is not functioning, and then making that relatability and making sure that everything functions smoothly end to end throughout is a very good skill to have.
Okay, and
So
other.
just to add on, generally a lot of good QAs become a very good functional product manager.
Okay, that makes kind of makes sense. Uh, but what other skills does a good product manager require?
Um, so I can speak from my perspective. So I really wanted to have, um, I really had a lot of growth mindset and continuously learning and evolving, because as a product manager, you're not living in the present. You're living 6 months down the line. You're living 1 year down the line, because you're creating a roadmap, thinking from like, okay, this is what the vision of the product is, right? So 6 months down the line, let's say you are making a Uber, this is what's going to happen. And then you break down things structurally, month wise, week wise, sprint wise. So I think that is very important, to live in the future and then translate that back 6 months down the line, thinking this is how we can structurally small and in a very small format, modularized fashion, sprint wise move forward. That's one. Having a growth mindset, being able to accept that there can be plenty of technical challenges, plenty of QAs which are going to be missed, and being okay with it, not getting stuck at it, but moving forward on it. If it doesn't happen this sprint, it's going to happen next sprint. If it doesn't happen next sprint, it's going to happen next quarter or next year. But you need to have that perseverance that, yes, you're going to build it and not get frustrated. That's one. Two, being okay with like the dumbest person in the meeting, because you'll be interacting with devs, you'll be interacting with marketing, you'll be interacting with leadership, you'll be interacting with engineering leads, and everyone is the best at what they do. And now you, being a product manager, are talking to each one of them, trying to understand what they are doing, and still trying to kind of be the master of all of these things, but not excelling at everything. So you should again be like okay with just knowing bits and pieces of each part and making sense and creating a story out of all of these different genres.
And any advice for people who are making the switch, things that they should be wary of? You already touched a few already, but
Lots of patience. If you don't have patience, don't become a product manager. People skill is again very important. So because you're interacting with so many different genres of um, people, different functions, different roles, different hierarchies, you're sitting at like a place where if anything breaks, it's going to be on you. Shantanu, you didn't communicate it right. Or whatever happens, it falls on you, right? No other team member is going to be punished except you. So you have to be very vigilant, be very aware of what's happening in every part of your product. Lots of patience again, and you need to know how to keep everyone happy. If you're saying no, you have to know how to say no gently. I think that's one of the biggest traits of a product manager.
I think people skills is where you excel at. So
I hope so.
so yeah, I think it makes it a good fit for you.
Yeah.
And any resources that you use that helped you in making the switch, or was the MBA good enough?
So no, after my MBA, I was again kind of struggling to kind of understand what product management space is. YouTube was like one of my best friends who helped me guide what product management is. So there are different kinds of product managers. There is someone who talks only purely about data. There's someone who purely thinks about how the vision is going to be formed. There's someone who's purely just marketing, someone who's purely technical, someone who's purely getting the shit done kind of product manager. So you need to understand what product manager you want to be. So in terms of, for me, I am an AI product manager who purely talks about data and then how I can extract information from data and then move forward, right? So in terms of resources, YouTube helped me identify what I want to do. A specific channel there is, if I remember the name correctly, Product School,
Okay.
which does a lot of product interviews. So that helped me kind of understand what are the different genres, criterias, and questions which can be asked. And then again, doing a lot of informational interviews with a lot of PMs in India, across India, in US, back where I had a lot of friends. So I did a lot of informational interviews. I just said, give me your 30 minutes. I just want to understand what you do, how you do it, and what are the challenges in past 1 year, 2 year, whatever, right? So these are the resources which I at least consumed. And then books, loved the books. So there are a couple of books which I would like to quote. One is Inspired by Marty Kagan. Second is Hooked, and third is Decode and Conquer. If you're like just a budding product manager, go get yourself a Decode and Conquer. You will understand what product management space is. And once you're actually in the shoes of a product manager, reading Inspired or Hooked will like just help you each and every day of your product management professional life.
Any other resources apart from books and the YouTube? Were there any specific courses that you bought or watched as well?
No, I think I am not a very big fan of buying resources. For me, it's mostly just talking to people, interacting, understanding, asking questions. So one of the recent places where I was interacting was Clubhouse. So Clubhouse has many different rooms, as we call it, around product management space. And you get to learn a lot of things from different people. There are people with like 15, 20, 25 years of product management experience, and they would come and you can ask them questions. And they are very happy to share their knowledge, their experience. And that's like a beautiful, I would say, beautiful channel to understand and interact with people. And plus, you get to network a lot over there. So that's something which was really helpful for me also to grow.
Using your people skills the right way.
Yeah, yeah.
And anything, do you think MBA, this is somewhat controversial or a redundant question, but did MBA help in your product management journey, or can one do without
Absolutely. So answering to your previous question, did you pay for a course? I paid for MBA, yes.
it?
So MBA definitely helps because it gives you a complete managerial experience of finance, marketing, product management, each and every single piece of it, right? So definitely helped me. There's also a product management course which told me exactly how do you analyze stuff, how do you live in the future. And I think it definitely helped me. So I could have just done away with like that one particular course to become a PM. But to become a PM in an Indian environment, MBA helps you get that edge.
And for someone who is a dev making the transition, is MBA absolutely necessary or not, in terms of just looking for jobs even?
I would say it's completely okay not to do an MBA. So you don't do MBA to become a product manager. You do MBA to one network and two, to understand the business environment,
Mhm.
the culture, and grow, right? I think that's the key motivation of why one should do an MBA, and at least why I did an MBA, right? To get a job or to get a better job or to get a product manager job is not the right reason for anyone to get an
That makes sense.
MBA.
Or
So, okay, let me also answer it in the other way. To become a product manager from whatever space you are in, dev, QA, wherever, you can just take a product management course. There are plenty of schools out there. There's product school, and there are plenty of other things as well. There are IIM courses which only purely focuses on product management. There are other Great Learning, UT Austin courses which purely focuses on becoming a product manager. Take that. It's a 6 month or a 1 year offline online course, and you can just do that and get exactly what product management managers do. You don't really have to do an MBA.
sounds good. I think those are good enough resources for someone to get an idea and see if it's for them or not.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shantanu, for sharing your experiences. We will probably have a few more sessions in the future going in more detail about product management. Uh, for those, please subscribe to wherever you're watching or listening to this. We also have a Discord server where we do our discussions. A link to that will be in the description of wherever you are watching this or listening to this. And Shantanu will be there answering any questions if people have it.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much, Saransh. Love interacting with you. Love helping out people with whoever's stuck with product management space. They're trying to crack anything. Happy to help. Happy to answer any other questions. If also you want, I will help you out. I'll give you the YouTube link of how I created a playlist of where I learned all my product management interview skills from. So hopefully that will help all the Wisdom Geek, potential, or even now product manager seekers.
Yeah, I'll post that in the description as well. So it helps other people. And we can always carry on the discussion in the Discord server. Another thing which I would like to call out is Shantanu will be joining as a co-host for some of the Wisdom Geek videos in the future. So thanks for that. And we'll probably learn more from his expertise.
Absolutely, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.